Tuesdays is known as $2 Tuesdays at WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, where you can get the hottest handicappers' best bet or daily package for only $2.
Happy Tuesday, guys. Carmine Bianco here from WagerTalk.com, live from Las Vegas at the D Hotel. So if my Wi-Fi conks out at some point, Nick Borrman will step in and take the show over. But we are going to do some midweek games. Champions League takes the week off, so we're going to cover some Serie A games and one big game that goes tonight in MLS. And Nick and Pavlos do a fantastic job in MLS, so they are going to break down that game. But we'll bring them in. Pablos, I'll bring you in first. How are things going? What do you have up at Sports Memo? Awesome, man. Keep it going. And for you guys tuning in, whether you're watching the show live or you're watching it a little later on as it's posted on YouTube, with Pablo's running so good, we'll have a coupon code for you where you can get a 3-day all access every single play Pablo's releases across all sports, including props as well, too. A 3-day all access special for this show. Nick Borman, let's bring you in next. How are things going, my friend? And what do you have up for the week?
For as long as we can see it.
Awesome. Good to hear, Nick. And I will have for you, myself, and the man I'm going to bring in now, a 3-day all access special as well, too. I'll mention it just after the second game that we cover. I'll put the codes up on the screen for everyone. The Irishman, I usually bring you in first. I'm bringing you in last, my friend. How are things going?
Yeah, all good, Carmine. Look, obviously could have been better. Had the Saints -4 last night as our 5% Monday best bet over in the NFL. That fell just short, unfortunately. But, I suppose no complaints overall. 33-16 running all 5% best bets since April. So, got to hand some back, unfortunately. But, yeah, it's been good. NBA season started off well, 3-0. We got a 5% college football 6-pack already loaded up as well for this weekend. We swept the board 3-0 last weekend in college. So, all good. Our midweek soccer card should be finalised over the next couple of hours as well. So, yeah, pretty happy about that. And, a bit jealous about your Vegas weather over there. Absolutely bucketing down outside in Ireland right now. And, always excited to talk some soccer on today's show.
Yeah, good to hear. I am going to head down after this show. And at the top of the hour, it's puck time with Andrew McInnes, myself, and Don Buster. I'm going to head down to the Circus Sportsbook and watch some Serie A games that are going today. Looking forward to it. It's the weather's nice here. It's fantastic. And we had Marco, Las Vegas, Chris, Dan, our producer, who's in town as well, too. All hit Andiamo's for some dinner. So great time last night, feeling the effects of it this morning, but it is all good. I'm still on East time, even though I'm on the West Coast. My body hasn't changed over. Anyways, guys, let's get right to the first game. Kevin and I will break this one down. Let's have a look at the odds. This is Juventus and Sassuolo. Juve -230. The draw is +415. Sassuolo is +650. I really want to hear what Kev has to say, but I'm just going to give a quick brief overview on this. This Juventus team is now starting to play much better since that terrible start to the year with a couple of losses and a draw. A lot of 1-0 games on this team score sheet, but they're playing teams that fit into that mold of low-scoring 1-0 type games. Chelsea, Torino in the Turin Derby, Roma, which was always going to be a tough one, and then an away game at Zenit in Champions League. And they come off the Italian Derby on the weekend, getting a late penalty from Dybala to tie Inter in that game 1-1. But I've talked about Sassuolo. They're now coming to town, and this is a type of team that presses high, brings you into a game where it's a higher scoring game. This is how the team was last year, even though a couple of players are gone from that team, one of them being Locatelli, who's now on the Juventus team, and midfield. They bring you into a game where there's going to be some chances, there's going to be some goals, but they still don't have that star quality on the side. Obviously, they have a Zudi player, Berardi there, and he's finding the net again as he's healthy. But this is just one of those games where I see goals in this game, but I see likely Juventus winning by margin here. So while the line is 230 and probably a little too high for me to play at minus 230, if you can get a goal line of 1 and 1.25, that's probably the way to go. I don't see it hitting minus 1.5. That usually comes when you get to that minus 280 to minus 300 juice. So you can probably find some minus ones with a little juice of minus 130 if you can. I think that's the play here. Kev, give me your thoughts on this one.
Yeah, I agree, Carmine. I mean, as you said, Juve are playing a lot better now. Unbeaten in 6. They won 4 of the last 5 outright as well. But, as you said, they did need a bit of fortune to rescue that draw against Inter at the weekend. And look, I'm on the same, train here. It's hard not to back Juve in this spot, as improved as Sassuolo are, going back multiple seasons. I mean, they are effectively, a bona fide top half club now. Their record against Juve, in this spot is fairly atrocious. Sassuolo haven't beaten Juve in over 7 years. They've lost 9 of their last 11 against them outright. Have never beaten Juventus in Turin in their history either. So, Juve is definitely the way I'm looking to play this one, especially with all the injury concerns that Sassuolo are going through as well right now. But, it is too high of a price for me to back Juve in this spot. But if we mix it in with the over 2.5 goals, that comes in at around even money. And I like that, by combining those two. I like the price on that even money. Juve have averaged 2.88 goals scored per game over recent head-to-heads against Sassuolo inside this venue. And on the defensive end, Juve have kept just 1 clean sheet all season at home. On the Sassuolo side, they bagged 3 goals at the weekend against Venezia. Both teams have also found the back of the net in 4 Sassuolo's last 5 matchups and all as well. So, I think this will be a high-scoring affair, as you said, between 2 good teams on Wednesday. I think Juve will get the win, however, especially at home. And, combining both of those options here into a nice even money price is the way I'm looking to play this one. So, yeah, Juventus to win, plus the over 2.5 goals combination bet for me in this one at around even money.
All right, that is Kevin Dolan with his breakdown of the Juventus Sassuolo game. You can find his plays up at WagerTalk.com. Speaking of WagerTalk.com, guys, it's $2 Tuesday, so it is obviously $2 Tuesdays across all platforms and at SportsMemo. $2 Tuesday is where you can get a featured cappers plays and one of the hottest cappers for only $2. This week, Steve Merrill is the $2 capper over at WagerTalk and at SportsMemo. It is JM Sports. You can head over both sites. Those plays are only $2. Those are plays that normally go for $29 or $35. And included with those plays are a bunch of promos as well for some short and long-term packages, some great deals. So head over to WagerTalk and SportsMemo and pick those up. All right, guys, we are going to stay in Serie A. We are going to tackle a game that goes on later today. AC Milan and Torino. We'll have a quick look at the odds, and then we're going to go to Nick Borrman. AC Milan minus 150. The draw is plus 295. Torino plus 500. Nick, I'm going to go to you first on this one. Milan got there on the weekend, 11 versus 9. It was quite the game, up 2-0, up a man, and they almost blew that game. Give me your thoughts on this one.
Yeah, they were lucky for sure. This is just a bad spot from Milan, in my opinion. This is their fourth game in 11 days since returning from the international break, as they have Champions League matches going on. After this game, they have Roma this weekend, Porto next week in the Champions League midweek, and then Inter next weekend to round out before the next international break. So this game is the least important to them, or the last one that they're really paying attention to and looking at. So I think they're going to get caught with their pants down in this match. I think we're going to have some tired legs here. So far, Milan, you look at the results, they performed obviously very well in Serie A, 8 wins, 1 draw, no losses, 22-9 goal differential. But I don't see them, even winning this match, let alone blowing out Torino to cover a goal, which is the spread right now. Over their last 3 Serie A games, which they have won all 3, their expected goal numbers are not that impressive. And eventually the results are going to start to match those expected goal numbers. Say against Atalanta, 2.51 to 2.63, yet they won 3-2. Against Verona, 1.52 to 1.58, yet they won 3-2. And then most recently against Bologna, 0.91 to 0.63, and they won 4-2. So, those trends are going to stop at some point. And like I said, this spot is just terrible for them. Atalanta is, the only good team out of those 3 I just listed. And Torino is much better than Verona and Bologna this year, at least, and expected goals are plus 0.27 so far on the season. Torino does have 4 losses this year, but they haven't lost a single game by more than 1 goal, which includes games against Atalanta, Lazio, Juventus, and Napoli already. Head-to-head, Torino has also been a tough win for AC Milan. They do have 8 wins in the last 20 games, but only 3 times have they won by more than 1 goal. So again, if Milan do end up winning this game, I doubt it's going to be by more than 1 goal, but I find it very unlikely that they're going to end up winning this game. And who knows, Torino may even sneak 3 points here. It's just a bad spot for AC Milan. So Torino plus a goal is the way I'd look here.
All right, that's Nick Borrman of WagerTalk.com. Pavlos, thoughts on this game? Milan have a couple bodies coming back. They had some COVID issues with Theo, but he is back, but he's likely not going to be featured in the first half. He'll probably be a second half substitute. And Kessie's back, helps out that midfield a bit. Give me your thoughts on this one.
Yeah, what worries me is the fact that the AC Milan are missing their starting goalkeeper and also a couple of defenders at the flanks. While Torino, they recently got back Andrea Bellotti, who is by far their best and most, the best striker with the most quality. And the last time these two met, AC Milan blew Torino up by 7-0 at Torino. So there's got to be some revenge game narrative mixed up in there. Nick made some great, suggestions about AC Milan's numbers. I have to say that AC Milan haven't kept a clean sheet in the last 6, and of course they'll be missing again their starting goalkeeper. While Torino, they haven't been very flashy on the road. They have 1 win, 2 losses, and 1 draw, but they tend to keep their matches in low scoring. They don't go into overs a lot. And but the thing is, with AC Milan, they are unbeaten against Torino in over 30 years. They have only lost a cup match. They have 17 wins, 1 loss, and 9 draws. And they are unbeaten against Torino at home since 2000. They have 10 wins and 7 draws, but they have won just 2 of their last 6 here. And there weren't many goals in those in that stretch of matches. So I do believe that Torino will score here, and AC Milan, I don't think they'll remain scoreless. So I think the best value here is taking both teams to score at minus 130, 135 if you shop around. This could be, judging by the numbers, this could be a high-scoring match, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was stuck like to a 1-1 draw. I like both teams score here, and I could see Torino, not being blown up here, but I like both teams to score more than anything else in this match.
All right, Pavlos Laguretos of SportsMemo, and I mentioned a promo, so I will put that up for you guys. Now you can get a 3-day all-access package for Pavlos. Every single play across all sports that he releases, and he's running very hot right now. Number 1 capper, he told you, since I think September 9th. You can get 3 days all-access from Pavlos for only $39 if you use the coupon code Vegas10. So Vegas10 will get you his 3 days for $39. That's a fantastic deal. in it right there. And for myself, Nick Borrman, and Kevin Dolan, these same thing. You can get a 3-day all access package for only $39. The code for that one will be Vegas39. So head over to WagerTalk.com, select the capper of your choice, use the coupon code Vegas39, and you'll get a 3-day all access for only $39. All right, guys, we are going to head into the third game. We are staying in Serie A. It's a Serie A type show today because there is no EPL. I think there's EFL, and those lineups are sketchy, so we're sticking to this. Let's have a look at the odds here. Lazio minus 101, the draw plus 270, Fiorentina plus 300. Kevin and I will look at this one. Kev, I'm going to make this one very quick from my end. I'm not going to offer too much. I want to hear what you have to say. This Lazio team is probably the most unpredictable team, but they've been like this over the years. Have a great game, where they beat Inter Milan, and then they go on the road and, for lack of a better word, they just completely fell apart. They lose to Verona 4-1. I just don't get this team. Their form at home never seems to carry over to on the road. We saw it in Champions League. It's just there's no rhyme and reason. And Maurizio Sarri can't be happy with how this team is playing right now. But this is a big one. The Fiorentina team coming in is a team that just comes off a big 3-0 win over Cagliari, and it's a team that they can score. They can score and they can defend. They're the type of team that can give this Lazio team fits. But I think it's just, again, it goes back to the old home and away. Nick Borrman used to say a measure of a team is, can you win on the road and pick up points on the road while maintaining a very good home record. Lazio hasn't done that as of yet. Give me your thoughts on this one.
Well, I think unpredictable is an understatement. I mean, as you said, they get hammered by Verona, hammered by Bologna. Two good teams, but two decent teams, I should say. But two teams to be expected to beat Lazio. And then they alternate those results by beating Rome in the derby, current champions Inter. So it's like they really are a head scratching team. Lazio at times. They were flat out embarrassed at the weekend against Verona. 4 goals, actually, from the son of former Lazio legend Diego Simeone. Probably didn't help matters either in that one. And, that loss followed on pretty closely from the 3-0 beatdown they took against Bologna just 3 weeks earlier, as we mentioned. So, yeah, they're definitely a frustrating team to kind of back and watch at times. And the other factor is, of course, it's only week 10, and they're already 11 points off the pace in terms of a top spot in this league. That is a pretty huge gulf at this stage of the season. So they really do need to start finding more predictable form sooner rather than later. And that could be the case here on Wednesday against Fiorentina. Fiorentina, while they have put up some good results over recent games this season, good win against Cagliari, as you mentioned, the weekend, good win against Udinese also, played Napoli tough as well. They've only registered 3.8 shots on target per game on the road this season, along with having Serie A's 6th worst expected goals tally as well, while Lazio are at the other end of the table effectively. Lazio own the league's 4th best expected goals record at home this season. So, I think there is a slight gap between where these two teams are supposed to be. And I like Lazio to kind of prove that here on Wednesday, with a win. It is a tough game, obviously. Fiorentina are no joke. But, yeah, I do expect Lazio to edge this one out tomorrow night and get the win in Rome against Fiorentina. But look, at the end of the day, you got to kind of roll the dice with this Lazio team. So who knows?
All right, Kevin Dolan, WagerTalk.com, and I agree. That was a big game by Giovanni Simeone on the weekend. Literally going from 2 goals scored to 6 goals scored, and just a couple of goals back of Ciro Immobile and. Who's on 8, and Zeko's in second with 7. So he's right in there for a Verona team, in the top 5 scoring. Guys, we are going to head over to MLS now. The season is winding down, but there are some very good playoff races going on. And this is one of them, Seattle. Year in and year out, this Seattle team just seems to be at the top of the West. and making it into the MLS Cup. And a team that was a dominant team a couple of years back, LAFC, find themselves on the outside looking in with about 3 games left, needing wins to get into the playoffs. They are still within striking range of a playoff spot, but this is a tough one for them. Even though they're at home, the Seattle team just seems to continue to win, and they're coming off a loss at home to Sporting KC, so there's gonna be a little sting in this team looking to hold on to that top spot in the West. Pavlos is a Seattle Sounders fan, and we're going to hear what he has to say, but we are going to go to Nick Borrman first on this one. Nick, give me your thoughts on this game, and we'll put the odds up on the screen for everyone.
Yeah, this is the third meeting of the year for the teams. They drew 1-1, LAFC, and Seattle won 2-1 at home in the second meeting in May. If I'm choosing a side, I'm probably going Seattle plus a half a goal. Although uncharacteristically for them, they're winless in their last 3 games with a draw and 2 losses. But Seattle do tend to play LAFC pretty tough, as LAFC have just 2 wins in the last 9 head-to-head meetings. Seattle has 5 wins and 2 draws during that time. But as you mentioned, Carm, these are desperate times for LAFC. They're outside of the playoff picture, 3 points back with 3 games to go. So it's a little risky right now, going against them, because they're probably going to have to start to pull out all the tricks and stops to just push forward, and they have to win games at this point. LAFC has been a tough team to bet on, this year until more recently. They were one of the favorites coming into the season. They're often laying over a goal as favorites, but more recently they've been getting some plus goals, and rightfully so. You can look at the results this year. They just have 11 wins in 31 games. And I always talk about expected goals. I look at expected goals a lot, but expected goals doesn't win soccer games, and there's no better example of that than LAFC. They, as you mentioned, Carm, as we just talked about, they're outside the playoff picture, but they are actually number 2 in the league with a plus 0.68 expected goal differential per game, behind only New York City FC. So that's pretty remarkable that they're generating that kind of chance creation, yet they've just been unable to capitalize on it, and their opponents are scoring at a far higher clip than they are allowing chances. So it's one of those things, it just hasn't worked out for them, but you still think the team is good. And, because of the desperate situation, I like them to be able to do whatever they have to get on the board here. At the same time, they've conceded in 23 of 31 matches this year. So if you can pick up where I'm going here, I'm actually looking at a both teams to score prop in this match. Seattle only has a 17-14 both teams to score record because they've allowed just 0.9 goals on 1.16 expected goals allowed. But when these teams meet, usually we see fireworks, as 8 of the last 10 have seen both teams score. So, I figured this prop would probably be in the minus 175-ish range. Right now it's anywhere from minus 140 to minus 150. So I think that has some decent value. And again, just because of the situation here, Seattle sit atop, LAFC are on the outside looking in. There's a lot on the line for this. I'm just a little nervous of what these teams will do at the end of the game to push for a goal if they have to. So instead, we'll just go both teams to score, and who knows, perhaps cash this before halftime.
I like it, Nick. I look at this, and you look at this LAFC, and obviously, there's some players missing on this team, some that have left. But Christian Arango, 6 goals in his last 3 games, and he's got 12 thus far. Pavlos, I'm going to go to you next on this one, because you're pretty close or in tune with what goes on with this Seattle Sounders club as a fan of that team. But some bodies missing tonight. It looks like listed not to play: Lodero, Morris, Rui Diaz. Some big names there as far as scoring for this team. What are your thoughts here?
Yeah, the Sounders are indeed missing some of their key players up front, but Lodero has been missing for the entire season. Morris has also been missing for the entire season. Rui Diaz is what worries me, and Joao Paulo, which are two of the most creative and lethal players in the squad. But Nick, I agree 100% with everything Nick said. I'm also going to propose that both teams to score here. This is a very weird situation for both sides. I mean, LAFC, they have to play against the Sounders here. Then they have to play against Vancouver, who are currently sitting at the last playoff spot of the West. So that's going to be another high-intensity match. And their last match is against the Colorado Rapids at Colorado. And mind you that the Colorado Rapids are third now in the West with 55 points. Second are Sporting Kansas City with 55 points, and Seattle are first with 58. So this is going to be a very it's going to be a crucial match for both sides, especially with Seattle not having an easy schedule to finish the season, because after LAFC they're going to play at home against the Galaxy, who are also fighting to remain inside the playoff spots, and then their last match is at Vancouver. So these are both teams have very, very tough matches coming up. So this match is a must win for both sides. Now, as far as goals go, past years have shown that there are very high scoring matches between the two sides. A lot of 3-1s, 3-0s, 1-4s, and whatnot. But both matches between the two sides this season had under 2.5 goals. And I was looking at the trends on the totals last season. There were a lot of totals, but this season the totals across the league have gone way, way down. So I wouldn't be surprised by a low scoring match here. I like the 1-1 correct score. I mean, the Sounders haven't kept clean sheets lately. LAFC are just terrible defensively, as Nick mentioned. So the way I look at this is Seattle, even though they're missing a couple of key players, they have found, the right chemistry, and they have produced some, heroes, if I might say. So I also think that because they were absolutely robbed in the last match against Sporting Kansas City, they were... if you saw the match, the Kansas City goalkeeper literally wrestled Cristiano Ronaldo to the ground. That should have been a red card. I don't know if it was a penalty kick because there was a foul kick that was awarded right before that. But that's definitely a red card. And if it was a red card, it would have changed the course of the match. And if Seattle Sounders have grabbed a point from that match, then the top spot would be most likely theirs. But it was a terrible result. It literally put the top of the Western Conference on fire. The Sounders are not as comfortable as they were a couple of game weeks ago. They're now winless in their last 3. I don't believe that they'll remain scoreless against this terrible LAFC defense. So both teams to score at minus 140 is I think the best value in this match.
All right, Pavlos Laguretos with his take on the LAFC and Seattle Sounders game. Seattle trying to hold on to that top spot in the West, but the top spot in the league is going to the New England Rev. That team is still playing lights out football. Guys, it's $2 Tuesdays at WagerTalk and Sportsmemo. It is when you can pick up a featured cappers plays, and one of the hottest cappers across both sites for only $2 at WagerTalk. It is Steve Merrill. Steve Merrill has a play up. You can get it for only $2, and with it are some great promos inside the analysis section. And over at Sportsmemo, it's JM Sports. JM Sports, you can pick up his play as well for only $2. These are plays that normally go for $29 or $35 on the sites. So head over and take advantage of those deals. All right, guys, we've covered games over the next couple of days. But let's leave you with something for plays over the weekend. Each guy will have a best bet on this show. I'll start with Kevin Dolan. We're going to go to France's Uber Eats League One for this one. Kev, tell me what you got.
Uber Eats. I don't think I'll ever get used to that. We're going to look at the game between Marseille and Clermont on Sunday. Marseille, I thought, bounced back well after back-to-back losses to Lens and Lille, respectively. They beat up Lorient 4-1 2 weeks ago in a really emphatic win. And then, following that up with a solid home draw against PSG there at the weekend as well. So I like Marseille in this spot. They'll obviously have, one eye on next week's Europa League clash against Lazio, obviously. But even so, I think Marseille will offer too much going forward here against the Clermont team that's allowing the third worst goals against average in the league this season. So, Marseille the play here for me, best bet, plus 135 as well. So, like that price on Sunday.
Yeah, that is a very good price. All right, we are going to switch over to a Saturday game, Bundesliga. So we're switching leagues as well, too. Let's bring in Nick Borrman. Give us a best bet on the weekend.
Yeah, been doing very well with the Bundesliga, so we'll stay there. Looking at Dortmund and both teams to score in the Dortmund-Köln match. Haaland is going to be missing again for this match. He's likely out through the rest of this year, 2021, possibly into 2022 as well. They're even talking about the season. But They were able to win 3-1 on the road in Armenia in their last match. On the season, Dortmund have 7 wins through 9 games, winning all 5 at home, yet they've yet to keep a clean sheet, allowing goals in all 9 games. Cologne have scored in all but 1 match this year, while matching Dortmund having yet to keep a clean sheet as well. So both teams' score has come through in the last 5 head-to-head meetings, and I actually think Dortmund winning is riskier than Cologne not scoring here. But I'm going to combine both Dortmund to win and both teams to score as a play here in the Bundesliga.
All right. I like it. I will be playing that as well, Nick. All right. We are going to head over to our man from Sports Memo, Pavlos. He's got a Saturday EPL best bet for us. Pavlos, tell us what you got.
First of all, I'd like to say be careful with that cold side. You know what they have done us last season. But yeah, as far as my best bet goes, I'm going to pick the over 2.5 goals at plus 115 in the Burnley versus Brentford match. This might not look like a popular bet, but Burnley, they have been struggling a lot in the season, but they made a great addition with Maxwell Cornet, who scored twice in their away match against Southampton. And he has brought a breath of fresh air to this Burnley offensive side. And Brentford, well, they look like one very, very defensive side, but they have the tendency to get carried away when matches go, when they concede or score an early goal. We saw that in the 3-3 draw against Liverpool. They beat West Ham by 2-1 on the road. They lost to Leicester by 2-1 at home in their last match. I think most people are going to look towards the under, but I am going to go with the over 2.5 goals here, especially if Brentford are missing one of their key defenders, Ethan Pinnock, who is having a tremendous season so far. If he is indeed out, there's going to be, I think the price on the over 2.5 goals is going to drop before Saturday comes. So yeah, I really like this this price, plus 115 at over 2.5 goals.
All right, that is Pavlos Laguretos of Sports Memo. I'll have the promos one last time at the end of the show, which is coming up next. But I'm going to mention a play that I will be on my card this weekend. This is a game that goes on Sunday in Serie A, since we've been talking a lot of Serie A. Top of the table, Napoli with 8 wins and 1 draw. I am willing to lay the goal and a half in this game with them. They come off a scoreless draw at Roma this past week, and they just take on a Salernitana side that they are destined, along with I think I mentioned it before, Spezia and likely Venezia, to head back into Serie B this season. They're 1-1-7 thus far this season, outscored 21-8. The 1 win coming over also relegation bound Genoa. That was their only win. Their draw came against Verona, so they haven't picked up any points against any of the top 10 teams thus far. And this is just a Napoli team that is firing on all cylinders at the moment. This game can only go one way, and it's a Napoli win, and a Napoli win by margin. So that's where we're going to go with our free play and best bet on the weekend. Napoli minus a goal and a half on Sunday to get the win by a margin. Guys, I appreciate you guys tuning in. Remember these show promos, 3-day all access at WagerTalk.com for any of the show cappers here, Nick, Kevin, or myself, for only $39 when you use coupon code Vegas39 at checkout. Vegas39, you'll get 3 days of all sports for only $39. That's a great deal. And at Sports Memo, use the coupon code Vegas10, that's Vegas10, and you'll get 3 days all access for all of Pavlos's plays across all sports for only $39 as well. We'll be back next Tuesday to talk Champions League before the international break approaches. So tune in next Tuesday, 10 a.m. Guys, hit that like button, subscribe if you have not done so already, and as always, best of luck with your wagers.
Tuesdays is known as $2 Tuesdays at WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, where you can get the hottest handicappers' best bet or daily package for only $2.